before we move on to more concrete questions about motivation for practices, etc., here is a general question. How does one find the meaning or purpose of one's life? And we are not talking about in the practical sense, get up, do your duties, do this, do that, go up, run after this, don't run after that, all that. But perhaps people think that maybe there is a deeper significance, deeper meaning, deeper purpose. How does one find one's purpose or meaning in life? What would you say about that?
Before going to your question, I feel I can say that if I have to say, what is the purpose of life in a broader sense, in a wide spectrum, in my view, I have seen hundreds and thousands of people over the last 15 years. Spiritual, non-spiritual, wide spectrum of people. I'm a student of psychology as well, even now. So what I have seen, and I have come to one conclusion, that the purpose of life, in a broader sense for a human being, basically, is to reach its fullest potential. And it is not only for human being, but for any sentient being. Let it be a seed. Take example of a seed. When somebody has sown seed for this is the highest purpose, the fruit. Take example of another jasmine flower or whatever, the flower which will come into a blossom into flower. The seed of that is the beginning, and the highest potential is flower, and not flower but the fragrance. The highest potential of seed of this fruit, call it orange or quinoa, is fruit and the essence. So this is what I don't think, in a broader sense, there is any purpose.
No, this is perfect.
There is anything other than this.
Right.
Number one. Now, you are saying that how does one find that?
Yeah.
How does one find that? It's a very difficult question, because it all depends on where the person is, on what level of consciousness you are.
Right.
I think initially I explained about the 4 levels of consciousness,
right,
about all of us are in. One is a for me state, and then a by me, and a through me, and in me.
Right.
So if the person is in the primary stage of consciousness, the consciousness of a human being who is in a primary level is a for me, that is the identification with me and body. Me as body, that is the end of it. If understanding of the person is that me and body, the person will always think about what will happen to my body, what should I wear, how do I look, what do people think about me, what clothes should I wear, am I wearing branded clothes or not, what kind of education do I have, what are the degrees I have achieved or I have accumulated. So the thinking of person who is at the primary level of consciousness, which is for me, will be only this. Now, the purpose of life for that person will be different.
Yes.
The purpose of life who has moved on to the second level of consciousness, that is by me, that he has taken the control of his activities and he wants to achieve something. For that person, the purpose of life will be different.
Yes.
The third level, which I says, which is a through me level, where the person spiritual journey or an inner journey starts. That is the third level. For that person, the purpose will be different. In fact, when person moves from for me to by me and then to through me, the person's spiritual journey begins, the person's journey towards the higher self begins. Yeah. And for that, in my opinion, for that journey to happen, a resolution is necessary. Without resolution, a person cannot move. Otherwise, he will be going here and there, because you should know what you are doing, what you want to achieve.
Yeah. So you mean to say at the third level, when the spiritual journey starts, the person needs to know exactly at that point, what is the whole point of this?
Why? What's wrong in this material life?
That, okay, I have arrived here.
Yes.
Where do I go?
Yes, and a basic understanding as I said previously, that a basic intellectual understanding of the futility of assumption of understanding that the objects and persons will make you happy permanently.
Right. Yes.
That person is ready to move intellectually.
Right.
That person ready to move on the third level. Right. Now, for that third level, the purpose of life will be different.
Yes.
But in my opinion, which I always keep on saying, that 95% of the world, they fall into these first two categories: by me, for me, and by me.
So
Their
the
life
purpose
towards
for them
the
will be whatever it is.
yeah. So for them, the life is basically for the material. The life is their understanding and their need of understanding for life is that this is what. How do I keep this intact for thousands of years? So they beautify it. The cosmetics are sufficient. The cosmetic will take care of them. They have nothing to do with the essence. So for them, I remember a very lovely quote of Friedrich Nietzsche. When Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live for, he who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow." Because somebody at the primary level, there are chances that they will go to depression, they don't know what to do, and they are not ready to move ahead to go to the experience of the higher experience beyond persons and objects. That person will definitely, most probably, fall into depression or boredom. So for such people, Nietzsche has said this. And very interestingly, I'll repeat Nietzsche's quote once again: "He who has why to live for can bear almost anyhow." Means what is he talking about? That somebody is bored, and boredom is the disease of the world. From this quote, the famous Viktor Frankl, the author of Man's Search for Meaning, a very famous book, Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl, who was a Holocaust survivor, whose book became very famous. Why it became very famous? When I read that book many, many years ago, I saw that why this book has become so famous and it has been translated into many languages. Because when something grows and spreads very fast, it is very obvious that it has to be on a very, very basic level. Then only the more and more number of people will be able to relate with it. So this famous Viktor Frankl, in my opinion, was influenced. He himself has gone on record saying that this quote of Nietzsche, that he who has why to live for can bear almost anyhow. So somebody, when he was a Holocaust survivor, Viktor Frankl, and they were not knowing what to do now, how to survive that tremendous situation. So for such people, this quote is useful. Those who are on the primary levels of consciousness, they have to create some hypothetical goal and put a goal, some materialistic goal, and then live. So for them, the purpose of life is that create your own some goal and then make your life livable. Now, another thing I would like to say is, in my realistic view, I feel it's totally unfair. It's totally unfair to give someone their purpose of life or meaning of life. It's very unfair. The purpose or meaning of life has to come within the person, with the intensive living.
Yeah. So the question that I had heard was not giving; it was to find.
Yes.
Now, as I understand you,
Yes.
what you said is what you will find will depend on what level of the 4 levels of consciousness that you are on.
Yes.
If I were to summarize. In the first level, you will look for whatever material comforts, pleasure that you have, want and all that. Second level, whatever you want to achieve.
Yes.
And success, failure of that. On third level, you have said things are happening through me, the spiritual journey has started. Okay, now the goal sort of comes by itself because you are there already. And the fourth level, as you pointed out, that once it's found out that it's always been there, there's no goal left.
Yes.
Right? In a way. There's no
Yes.
meaning, purpose left because that has been as to use your word, this has happened.
Yes.
The seed has given this, and its fragrance.
Then
and
once you have reached your highest potential, basically. So it all depends on the what level of consciousness the person is. And moreover, if I can say, anything and everything can be transferred in one-to-one basis. In one-to-one basis. That happens in the retreat that we have been organizing for last so many years. That when somebody is connected over the years, a deep level of understanding of each other, where the other person is. When that is there, it is easier to share even more. But on a broader, grosser level, that's what I can say.
This is all we can do through this question answer session.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So thanks.
Yeah. Right.